Yeah, it's very good to be presenting on the Warhammer Conference. Couple sentences about me. Obviously, I'm a Warhammer fan. And behind me is one of the closets. It's full display of few armies. I have master degree in cultural anthropology, and due to me being neurodivergent person, I have a keen interest in all neurodiversity topics related, especially in the ways of how neurodiversity interacts with all areas of our life. And one of the questions that I was asking myself, because me and a few of my neurodivergent friends, neurodiverse friends, well, we are very deep into the Warhammer. So I asked myself a question. Okay, it is safe space for me. Looks like it's for other, but do we have more or less neurodiverse people in our hobby space? Which may be nice, but let's start with what is neurodiversity, because it is a quite umbrella broad term that includes, but is not limited to, any sort of disorders of intellectual development, developmental speech or language disorders, autism spectrum disorder, and due to some historical things and the media, please don't use Asperger, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, HD, especially in the adults, developmental learning disorder, and stereotyped movement disorder, which is like repetitive movements. And all that terms are from the IDCD-11. Grab it, so like up to date and with the current medical knowledge. But we need to look that having the disorder is not a like disability, and it is not the main factor to determine this person. But when we speak about the broader population, like the globally, then they are probably really under. If I miss the word, sorry about that. English is not my first language, which my surname probably suggests. But we have probably under-evaluated how many people are diagnosed with ADHD, or how many adults we have diagnosed with autism spectrum. They are two most common disorders, so that's my main focus of my research. And also we have the research. I hope that not too small to engage the presentation. If anyone needs, I can send the presentation and the questionnaire, because being anthropologist, I need to have a questionnaire. It's like, without that, we are lost in the woods. No one will help us. So it was really easy, fast questionnaire, unless we get to the screening questions. But the main goal was to collect broad, super broad demographic data, is age and gender, because there is from this exercise no need to collect any other demographical, like the income and all that stuff. And because we are interested in the hobby, we want to know how long and in which way do you engage with the hobby. Are you just collecting, painting minis, or are you playing on the competitive level, or like me on the local hobby stores level? Or do you prefer to engage with lore? Do you prefer to read, write some fan fiction, create the fun animation, and the possibilities are endless? Or do you someone who just like the settings and use that to listen when they, for example, do other tasks? Like, everything is a valid way to engage with the hobby. Also, because we're talking about the mental health here, we need to split our people into two separate groups. I think on the neurodiverse, like 3 groups in reality, because the first one was people who are not atypical neurodiverse, The second, the ones who got the professional diagnose, either from the psychiatrist or psychological evaluation. But we also have a screening tools that allows us to determine if it's good to engage in such process. And we have like safe evaluation, like someone thinks I'm on the spectrum. And the last one, because there is no like test to properly engage and monitor the results, the last group was taken with a grain of salt, but more on that with the results. I pick 4 screening tests: HSRS for HD, Monotropist questionnaire, ASPI, and RATS from the autism. And all of them give a simple result, easy to understand for non-medical person results. Then you can check with the key of answers, the answer key. And with answer key, you can say that above this score, it's strong suggested that you are neuroatypical or you have predisposition to be, or in general, it is good you to, if you want, to go and get checked. But let's go with the data. With demographics, the boring part. So we have 33 responses, which is not great, not terrible. And if you hear weird noises, it's my cat demanding attention. Yeah. And we have like 29 men, 3 women, and 1 non-binary person. And with the age, we have like the vast majority, almost 70%, was in the brackets 26-35, which it's a bracket when I, soon to be leaving, I will be pumping the second biggest bracket, 36 and 45. So probably if we ask people in the audience now, the blue or yellow bracket, it will be 2 most common brackets. And the questionnaire was spread through my social media and through social media of my friends and colleagues, and huge shout out to the Evi Mental on the Instagram and Kaha. And then we have the hobby part of it. And basically we have mostly veterans that 7 or more years in the hobby, so lots of editions, lots of different sort of dramas, ways, changing, losing and regaining the Warhammer Old World. And with the time spent weekly on hobby, we have a more diverse answers. I think 1 or 3 hours, 3 to 5 hours, up to 7. And we have people who have a lot of time to spend on the hobby, which is great for them, which means 10 or more hours. But let's to think, this is how many percentage we have in the general population per se. 4.4% with ADHD and 2.2 with autism spectrum, which is not huge numbers. Now we're going to us, and we have, with professionally diagnosed, we have 4 people, both in ADHD and autism, and they are not the same persons. Because I double check if it's like someone, because there is usually, because also shout out to my wonderful wife who was helping me with the theoretical part of that regarding medical stuff, because she is a doctor. So usually ADHD and autism in adults is well connected and goes together, but not in our case. We have 11 with positive screening for ADHD, which is a little surprise for me, because I was thinking that we have more with autism, which is 10 people, which is strong suggestion that we have higher in the hobby space high representation on neurodiversity that we may or may not think. And from the people who engage with the community, there is plenty of reasons. I will have mercy on you and don't read all of that letter to letter, but I will speak, like you can read what's on the screen and speak from my perspective. Like for me, because I need to have special interests. It's like hard-coded into me as being a person on the spectrum, and it is Warhammer. And I can create the info dumps that probably in this area and with those people who are in the room, which are Warhammer fans mostly, will be quite engaging. But for regular non-hobby people, when you need what is the Warhammer? Oh, you need to go to the Horus Heresy, but then we go to the World of the Heaven, and then we go to they not really engage that level of info dumping. And for me and from my I have a close friend. She is obsessed with Warhammer weapons, and she, from top of her head, can, by looking up the mini, tell what is a bolter, which mark, which was used, which campaign, everything. Like it's Warhammer Armory Wikipedia on legs. And from engaging with other people, we don't always have, I think it's in general people, we don't always have resources to go into the small talk or to longer, more engaging conversations. So for me, it creates safe zone, a buffer. When for example, when I play with someone, we can just focus on the game. Maybe on how well minis are painted, because I usually prefer to provide positive feedback with the painting. And also, it is a safe space in that understanding that the broad terms are more or less the same. It's like Warhammer 40k will not magically change into pure fantasy setting overnight. Or Age of Sigmar with steampunk, weird, high fantasy aesthetics will not change overnight into modern day dystopia, for example. But we also get this. Things start waiting anyway. I need to wait a little less. We have the novelty, like there are new models, new factions. My beloved Skavens got the rage refreshment, and I lose my favorite joke that the models on the table are older than half of the people in the shop. I can still use just the old models. So this is a great way for me, from my experience, to engage and meet another people that I'm sure, like, it is taking this fear that the new person, we cannot find the common ground, common area to understand each other, to talk with each other. Because we have this hobby space that Third of Us has heavy special interest level of it, so by the rule of thumb, every third person that you meet in the hobby space probably will be a neurodiverse person, and please keep that in mind for everyone. And yeah, now we go to this is the social media if anyone wants to stay in touch with me. But this is a part I have for Q&A.